Happy Friday, everyone, and boy, is it happy because we've got Brian Kilmeade today. Very lucky because he's been so busy of late. He truly has a strong following. Too bad it's for the birds. But I'm so excited because it's time for
Red Meat Friday.
Every Friday we deliver you fresh red meat. So what a great time to be a Democrat, because for Democrats, anybody can grow up to be president. And I mean anybody. You can break any law you want and it doesn't matter. As long as you separate your recyclables and use the correct pronouns, then you're good to go. First, there's Joe. After years of hearing about Trump's taxes, it turns out it's Joe who's soaking the IRS. So in addition to the $7 trillion in debt he just saddled your grandkids with, turns out Sleepy Joe might owe $500 large. Who knew that falling asleep in your soup, forgetting the names of foreign heads of state, and smelling the hair of Oval Office visitors weren't all tax deductible? A new nonpartisan report shows Biden improperly avoided paying Medicare taxes before he took office, which means he could owe as much as $500 grand in back taxes. $500,000. Buys a lot of Polygrip and icy hot patches. But that kind of cash Joe could order fresh new hair plugs in the shape of a giant ice cream cone and plant them from that shiny liver-spotted dome all the way down to his vestigial tail. He has a tail. 500 G's. Hell, that's enough money to buy one of his son's paintings. With a straw. I wonder what Joe has to say about that.
Look. Come on, man. This is a lot of fuss about nothing. About paying taxes. I haven't taken a taxi in years. I'm the president of the United States. They send a driver for me. But even back in the day, I took Amtrak. And these days, I think the young people, they use that Uber. That's one of those APPs on your phone.
What it is. Speaking of Hunter, more emails have come forth about him, but this time not from Hunter's server. And when I say his server, I'm not talking Destiny, his favorite hooker with the glass eye and club foot. He has some specific talents. 2 emails published by Insider dating back to 2015 when Joe was VP has Hunter's business contacts touting access to his dad, his relationships to then Secretary of State John Kerry's stepson, as well as his ties to China. This as they decided whether to work with Hunter on a Libya deal that would unfreeze billions of that country's assets. Hunter had also requested a $2 million retainer, and not for his meth-ruined teeth. But the hookers in blow, they aren't going to pay for themselves. I have years of rejected Fox News expense reports to prove it. Now, I think these emails are legit because they also admit the downside of working with Hunter, that he's a drunk, a drug addict, kicked out of the military for drugs and chasing low-class hookers, and all the other stuff he listed on his resume under professional accomplishments and awards. It's funny, I just realized, except for the short stint in the Army, how much he and Kilmeade have in common. But what's with low-class hookers? That sounds redundant. What's the difference between a low and a high-class hooker? My guess it's whether they take the Chevron card and leave their teeth in. Speaking of hookers, drug-addicted family members, and multi-million-dollar government scams, what's up with the Clintons? Last week, Michael Sussman, a partner at a law firm representing the Hillary campaign and the DNC, was indicted by a federal grand jury on charges of making false statements to the FBI about his clients and their motives behind planting the false rumor at the FBI about that secret Trump-Russia server, which, like Hillary's charm, turned out to never have existed. The indictment states that Sussman coordinated with representatives and agents of the Clinton campaign in regard to materials that Sussman gave to the FBI and the media. And according to the New York Post, one of those agents was Jake Sullivan, the Clinton foreign policy advisor. So this isn't a smoking gun, it's a frickin' flamethrower. So the same people that were screaming that Trump stole the election with the help of the Russians were actually trying to steal an election with the help of fabricated Russians. Remember, whatever the Dems are accusing you of, they're doing it themselves. It's as certain as that law of physics in which a large object at CNN will remain at rest unless that state is changed by somebody walking in with a donut. Now, all of this would be news if it were Trump or any Republican for that matter. But it's the Dems, the coddled class of the media. I wish I knew this sooner. Imagine what I could get away with if I was a Democrat. I could grab coworkers' butts all day and get away with it, and there's nothing Kilmeade or Waters could do about it. It would be their word against the king of late night's word. Who do you think wins that battle? I mean, look at Chris Cuomo. He protects a corrupt brother and grabs people's asses and still found time to order a novelty Q-tip. Chris Cuomo, so stupid, he grabs his old boss's ass in front of her husband and then writes an email saying, "Hey, I'm sorry I grabbed your ass in front of your husband." I paraphrase that. Bottom line, when Trump won, the Dems and the media accused him of everything they were doing. Shrinks call this transference, but it's actually corruption. Dems, the press, and our tech giants working hand-in-hand to sway an election. And then they simply applied their sins to the outsider, the orange Godzilla who threatened their power. And you wonder why no one trusts the 2020 outcome. And you see why the Dems fight election transparency and voter ID. It's because their party is as dirty as the toilet seat in a gas station. Ask Kat about that. Because without the ability to cover up their crimes, they can't win. And without the help of the press, they cannot survive. The press is to the Dems what sunlight is to a pot plant. They are dead without it.
Here he is.
Let's welcome tonight's guest. It's the biggest star of Fox and Friends. But enough about Ainsley Earhardt. She was on last night. So we got this guy instead. Co-host of Fox and Friends, Brian Kilmeade. This Kennedy will never leave you in a car in the river. Host of Kennedy on Fox Business, Kennedy. He could never be a NASCAR driver because he stopped turning left years ago. Editor-in-chief of Outspoken, Chadwick Moore. And she's on this show as part of a work release program. Fox News contributor, Kat Tipp. So, Brian, must feel really good to be on a hit show.
Well, it's been about 6 hours. And of course, I had the radio show, so it's probably even less time than that. Question is, would I have been in the monologue whether I was here or not? I feel like I've already been on the show, and I've actually not contributed anything.
You're welcome.
Yes, exactly.
What's going on with this?
I'm your anti-PR campaign.
Right, it's pretty much.
I'm trying to undo your career show by show.
Right.
Nothing
It's
left.
a push-pull. I get some momentum, and I get destroyed at 11 o'clock at night. And it's every day, and I have to get up in the morning, and then I'm always -5.
I just want to know what you do in between Fox and Friends and this show, because where do you go? Do you sleep under a couch?
Well, we have a big decision on Fox. Do we get a cabinet for additional clothing, or do we get a couch? I chose the couch. You chose?
I sleep in the cabinet.
You sleep in the cabinet. Oh, fantastic.
Yes, yes.
So you really?
When they always ask me, do you want women in your cabinet? I say, hell yeah. Hey, don't you think it's a good thing that all of Hunter's problems are all well known? Because now there's no possibility for extortion or blackmail.
And it's true. It's just that that's a big head fake. As soon as you start talking about Hunter and Craig, they're like, hey, he's got an addiction. We've all had an addiction. That's not the story. The story is how it links to the dad. And they used to stop there. But then Politico says, wait a second, I could get a best-selling book if I write about the Bidens. So this one reporter does one book about the Bidens, and in there they weave in, oh, by the way, the emails were real.
Bam.
Only a year late.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've already elected him. Now, if things continue to go bad and they think Kamala Harris can do it, watch all of a sudden more truth come out. And suddenly we realize that Joe Biden's the person the New York Post told us he was.
Right.
And that is corrupt, scandalous, and his son is actually the nicest guy in the family.
Well, you know what? I am beginning to think, I'm starting to develop a kind of a manly crush on Hunter, because I just find every new information exciting. But that's not even a question, more like a confession. We always make fun of Biden for his naps, but what if he didn't nap? Because, he's only awake for 30 minutes a day, and the place is in a shambles. It's in a shambles, Kennedy.
No, he'd need a crypt.
Yes.
So he does need a cot.
Yes.
And that's fine. I still think it's cute that, little Grandpa Snoozlekins is the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, who can at any time go with his finger on the nuclear button, and we'd all be annihilated. So
Don't worry, Mark
very
Milley will stop him from hitting that.
low stakes. Yeah, Millie. Good Lord, Millie. Where was Millie when Hunter was out boozing and floozing?
Yeah.
Why wasn't Millie his
Not
body
sure.
man throwing himself in front of that grenade?
I'm not sure.
I actually think that Joe Biden is smarter than we give him credit for. The reason that they have spent the last 6 months completely undermining Kamala Harris and making her a totally worthless political prospect is because they knew all of this was going to drop.
Right.
They knew this Politico reporter was working on the book.
Interesting.
They knew they were going to substantiate all of the emails, and there's no propaganda that Jen Psaki can deliver that is going to turn this train around, because they are on the fast track to hell in terms of the administration. So maybe he was doing that. So he's the only viable option because she is so tarnished. She can't be president.
I sometimes wonder if Joe wakes up and thinks this is all a dream. Chadwick, is it time to impeach him, given all of this information? Because if it were Trump, he'd be impeached on. He'd be
Six
on the
times over.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, we're only ever going to know the very tiny tip of the iceberg of this. I mean, there are people who know exactly what's going on with the Bidens, and they're all foreign actors in Russia and China and now Libya and who knows what else. I just keep thinking back to the creepy Hillary Clinton moment where we saw he died.
Yes.
About Gaddafi,
Right.
who, by the way, was the world's best dressed dictator. That's how I was sad.
That's a low bar, but you're right.
Yeah, and here was Hillary, the world's worst dressed aspiring dictator. I just thought that's why I shouldn't like him. But we never knew why he had to die, and we'll never know now. But now we know that there are all these Democrat Party donors that for some reason have interest in these assets that were freezed up in Libya. Will he be impeached? Probably not. Should he? I mean, if Republicans behave like Democrats, then he wouldn't.
Yeah, we're not into impeaching. I'm not even into impeaching because I honestly don't think I don't think there's that much destructiveness left in Joe. Do you think it could get worse? It's been 9 months. It's like it's fast-forwarded destruction.
Yeah, I never ever say that something can't get worse. Because it can.
Yes, I've been to the dermatologist.
Okay, well, sorry about that. Go in earlier next time. Modern medicine.
It keeps coming back.
Well, that's what will happen. Look, impeachment, I just think we should live, in a country and under a system where the executive doesn't have so much power that it would really matter that much even who the president is, because it's not supposed to matter that much who the president is. George Washington didn't want to be president. They should be thinking about minimizing their power, but of course we don't do that, and everybody just wants to depend on the government for everything.
How do you feel about Chris Cuomo, the latest news? Anything?
That email, it was putting it in email, and then he also had several misspellings and grammar errors about this, apologizing for this very serious thing. I bet you they left out the bottom that said sent from my iPhone.
But back in 2005, they didn't have spell check. They didn't even have computers.
Yeah, that's true.
He had no mechanism for cleaning
I don't
that
even
up.
know the point.
He had
What was the point of that editorial?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Because she says, I want him to stay at CNN forever, Shelley Ross,
Oh,
whoever
right.
she was. I want him to stay there forever, but I just want to tell you one time at a party he did this, and he wore a shirt called The Truth, and his brother had a bunch of accusations that when I was done with this, I needed to shower, but I didn't know why.
Well, at least something got you to shower. All right, we got to move on.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.